Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. I'm in the middle of watering my Cymbidiums, and last time we looked at them, as we went past this one, I said that this is going to need staking. The spikes themselves, generally speaking, are nice and upright and nice and sturdy. Now, don't be fooled by nice and sturdy on Cymbidiums. If you bend them too much, they will snap. So you need to go careful. But as you can see, these two are quite upright. They've arched over at the top. Now, at the moment, as far as them being upright and okay, because as these buds, as this spike progresses, it will straighten up a bit. It won't completely arch over. But the thing you have to bear in mind is here, there's no spikes. And here there's two really close together. So I'm going to see how much that one will move. Now it'll move to there. That's not straining it too much. So that would send it up through this gap here. Now that will make the plant look more evenly, the blooms more evenly spaced. Let's see if we've got a long enough stake. Something like that. Now when you stake a Cymbidium, by definition you're going to damage some roots. But what you need to, what I'm thinking about is there's hardly any room left in that pot because of the roots. It's so full of roots. So as a consequence, I don't worry about a bit of damage with some roots. That's going to have to come out of the way because it's right in my way. I want to get that stake about there. So down the edge of the pot, there's that nuisance out, of course. He saw me pick the camera up, I'm sure he does. He's been asleep. As soon as I pick the camera up, he wants to go out. He's a freaking nuisance. I've been having a go at the scale while I've been working on these today, watering them. Because I've got alcohol out, because I needed my secateurs to cut some finished spikes off, and there's more than one plant involved, I got the alcohol out. So while I've got some alcohol around, I can just get some on my fingers and rub these scale off, and they come off quite easily. A lot of them come off without the help of the alcohol. Anyway, so I've got a pot full of clips here. Now, these are quite sturdy canes. You get all your leaves out of the way so you can see what you're doing. And then I'm going to bring that round there. I'll try and put the clip on the inside so that it's less visible. It needs to go down a bit or it'll kink. Down to about there, I would think. Something like that. Now that should come up through that gap and make that more evenly spaced. Now let's have a spin round and see what else we've got. Now, when we get to here, we have a cluster. We've got one in the middle, another in the middle, this one nice and upright on the edge. All those three are virtually in a line, and then we've got two hanging over the edge. So if we can get that one over there to go up through that gap, that'll help bring some blooms round this way again. We're still looking at the gap we've just worked on. And then this one is going to arch quite badly, which means it'll be in the way quite badly. So both of those need staking. So although these spikes aren't very long yet, at this stage they're relatively flexible. But do take care, like I say, you push them too far, they will snap. So we'll put that stake in there. Another big clip. Not that big. We'll do it. And then just, oh, actually a smaller one, I'll do that. Always move to a bigger one later. Sort of like that. And then this one, we'll have to, this one just needs pulling upright. Otherwise the whole, it's going to be out here. and it'll be in the way of everything. I won't be able to turn the pot or anything. So all I want to do with this is straighten it up. But we do have quite a cluster this side of the plant, whereas we don't have that many the other side. Nonetheless, that one needs straightening up. Now, the stakes I'm using are a lot longer than they appear to be necessary, but don't forget these spikes are nowhere near finished growing. Was that really worth bothering? Eh? Right, where was I? So this one is just a matter of getting it upright. So we will come down through there and go in about there and just hope that'll bend that far. It should do. Yeah, just about. There we go, so that will push that one upright. Then coming on round, these three are upright anyway, they'll be fine, as will this one. I will tuck it inside that leaf, that'll help keep it straight. A bit of alcohol on that leaf, there's quite a few scale on there. Most of them are dealt with now. I don't think I've found any live ones today because they come off so easily, which implies they're dead. They just don't know it. they just need telling, basically, one way or the other. Right, so yeah, we've got quite a cluster here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 all together there. And this one I'm going to move over. I'm going to move this over to here and back so that it comes between those two. So I need to go to about there. This stake hasn't got a point on. If you get a stake without a point, all you've actually got to do is get some secateurs or something very strong, just slice it at an angle like that, and it will give you a sort of point. A point good enough for this sort of thing anyway. We need to go about there. Right, so we'll need a big clip for this one, because this is quite a chunky one. That will hold the spike, but I want to try and get another small clip in between these buds if I can to straighten it up. That needs a different sort. Ugh. Needs one of these. So we just go gently tease the buds either side of the stake, and then just clip it in a place where it straightens it up. And sometimes you have to guess and then admit that you got it wrong and move it up a bit. So we'll try it there for now, and as it grows we can straighten it up. Right, there's one tucked down in there, that's heading skywards, and then these we've already done. So that'll do. As I said, what I didn't want was ones hanging out such that, so I'm just going to move that clip. If I move it above the first bud, it won't slip down like that. Now the bud will hold it in place. I just don't want them to spread out if I can help it. Right, I think that'll do for that one. And then we get on to the reason I brought it over here in the first place, we're in the middle of watering, and this is my method of watering the Cymbidiums. They all come over onto the into this bowl with the turntable underneath, so that I can turn them round and just pour loads of water in the top, which then drains through, gives it a good water, and we then have to hold it up in the air, which doesn't do my back any good at all because I'm arched, and just let as much water drain out as possible. It won't all come out, there'll be some in the drip tray, but the majority of it goes through like that, and then this goes back over here where it came from. Right, better put the tag back in. For those who want to know, that was Cymbidium Jamie Red. I've had a little while, I can't remember how long, but it wasn't one of this year's purchases. Possibly the beginning of last year, or maybe even the year before. But it was on a trip to Mathers. I got it at Mathers, but it's not one of theirs. It's in the Cymbidium house. There's about a quarter of it over the back area, which is used by another company. They do trade online, but they don't mind Mathers selling their plants on their open days, so that's where I got that one from. So it came from Mathers, but it's not one of their plants. Right, so that's it for today. I need to finish watering and get this lot cleared up, and then we've got to go and do battle with the now manual gates, because I need to get the car out. I need to go and get some eggs. I want to do that today while it's not raining and I haven't got anything else to do once I've finished this watering. Right, so that's it. It's just some thoughts about staking Cymbidiums. The most important thing is to test. Move the spike gently until you reach that tension point, and if you go beyond that, you're liable to snap it, so you need to do it carefully, and if in doubt, push it to somewhere near what you think is the limit and stake it, and then come back a week later and it'll move some more. And you probably have to take the stake out and put it back in again, but you can move them a bit at a time. You don't have to do it all at once. And you've got reasons for staking are that you want the spike upright so that it takes up less space, or it's going to a show perhaps, and you will need, if you're thinking of showing, then you need to get the spike staked quite early in its life. If you let it arch over, the buds will set their aspect, yeah? So they'll want to open like facing that way. So you've got the spike going like that, and the blooms are going to open like that. You straighten the spike up, and the blooms are now doing that. They're all wrong. So you need to get your stake in early on so that the buds get their aspect right and set them where you've got your stake. And you can stake semi-cascade if you want to stop them arching over too much. And I've got a couple of actual cascades that will come out the bottom of the pot and go straight down. Yeah? Those are going to need to be staked partially. So I have to let them come out enough that there's some give in them, and then pull them up towards a stake so that they point up about 45 degrees, something like that. And then after about a third of the length of the stake, let them go and they'll arch over. So that's different types of reasons for staking. So there's a fly. As I say, if you stick around too long, you're not going to survive. I've only had a couple in here today, I think 3. So they are dying down to next to nothing. Somebody said, have I got any dead bodies in here? Well, no. But you've just landed right in the wrong place, mate. X-fly. Right, I will see you next time for whatever. Thanks for dropping by.